Hey guys, it is Sonia. How are ya? I was just making deals. I put up some of my my thrifted glass. You know, sometimes you find some really nice pieces out when you're thrifting, and I found this Fenton piece, and so I put it up online, and it just sold for 40 bucks. So Donald came and got it, and made sure he had a box, all his bubble wrap. This is into my goal box right here of the house on the island that I will be having in my life in the future here as we go forward. But yeah, happy to see that. You know, I never want to be a museum. He came back and he offered me a little bit less than what I had posted. I'm like, yep. And then I put it back on them. If you come to do a prompt pickup today, I will give you that price. And then there's a little skin in the game, right? Everybody's so easy to say, will you take less? And I kind of in my brain know that when I post it for a little bit more, because we play this game of you post it for a price, somebody comes back and says, but will you take less? And then you go, oh, I never saw you coming. No, I never thought you would ever show up and offer me less. The game, it's all a game, right? Oh my gosh, what do I do with my little piece? I'm gonna need that. So anyhow, thank you, Donald, for help making my dreams come true. He has no idea. So I just put a quick second coat on here. I didn't have enough gray. When I say I went to the bottom, so just know that for the first coat I got full concentration, but I added just the slightest bit of water, and it just like really helped liquefy things down very thin. But I don't mind my second coat being thin. In fact, that's kind of a technique that you can use as well when you paint is if you put your first coat on at full consistency, and then when you're, pour it out a little bit for your second coat, put a little tiny bit of water just to test it. It makes it very fluid to go over the top of your first coat, and it sits a little thinner. It gives it a nice crisp finish. Like, this is looking really nice, right? So yeah, at any point you can add a little bit of water because this is a clay type paint. Like, if things sit in heat, if the lid is cracked, things like that can contribute to it starting to solidify, it's starting to bake. Think about like what clay would do if there was clay underneath a sun, underneath a heat source, and I don't know, in the desert or just under heat, it would literally bake and begin to crack, right? But you can add a little bit of water to kind of just liven it up again. So if you ever get to a point with your paint where you need a little bit more, you can add a little bit of water, just a tad bit, and like don't put too much in because you don't know, and then you overdo it and you're like, oh my gosh, I watered my paint down so much right now, it's awful. So, and you can do paint pours with that, right? Who's seen me do paint pours? When you do water it down to the point where it's literally just a paint pour. So yeah, water is going to be your friend. So if you ever see any clumps or anything like that, just know that try the little bit of water. So I'd pour a little bit of paint out, put a little bit of water, get it to consistency, and get it going again, right? So just know that that is your friend, because that does happen, right? Hey, Teresa. Janice, look, Janice, I am wearing my new earrings. So this morning I had a friend stop by, and they delivered me a pair of my friend Janice's homemade earrings. And you guys know that I love to make jewelry. I appreciate jewelry. My favorite kind of thing is handmade stuff, because the love, the time, you will never get another thing exactly like it. It's like when you paint a piece of furniture, right? When somebody takes those hand strokes, it is your hand strokes. And it's one of a kind. But yeah, she gave me these beautiful star earrings, which I absolutely love. I've been making a lot of earrings for you guys, and I did a special over the last few weeks where when you place an order at that time, it's ended at this point. Although if you do buy one of my paintings that I do have on my Etsy, I will make you a special pair of earrings, right? That's the only thing. Otherwise, I would just be an earring factory. But I did include some handmade earrings with you guys over the last few weeks. That special was ended. I'm just going to say it again so there's no confusion. But if you buy my paintings, I will do something special. So yeah, so I've been making earrings for other people, and it was really special because I wasn't expecting this morning, and somebody gave me handmade earrings, and I'm like, I love that. I appreciate that so much, and so I'm going to put these in my collection. You know, I love whimsical things, and they have a star and all kinds of bling bling and sparkle, and who doesn't need any extra sparkle in their life? Hello, sign me up. So anyway, I just want to say thank you so much, Janice. You're so sweet. That made my day today. Thank you. Thank you, thank you. Precious real estate, right? Think about what you put on your body, and like put beautiful things with love. So very thankful. So today, today I've sold some a really nice piece of thrifted glass that found a home from Marketplace. We did the psychological deal making, as I was saying. And so I just put my second coat on here. I made it work with a little bit of water and really thinned up my paint. Honestly, the paint sat down so nice. If you do not need to sand your piece, don't sand your piece, because it can only lead to things like it getting picked up in your poly. So if you don't have to, literally, you don't have to sand your piece. Now for me, if I want to do a few little edges, just because I like to give a little bit of distress to my edges, but I'm not going to go all over, because I've just learned over time that leads to, like I said, uneven poly, and I don't want to kick up any sand dust, and then if I don't wipe it off completely. So you know what? I love that nice blank slate that I have there. I'm going to give it a little bit of a sand on the edges, like I said, because distressing happens. Nicks and marks will definitely happen with your furniture. So take the pressure off yourself to make something perfect. Hey, like I said, more clarity, less pressure. All right, so a few little distress marks I think is going to be perfect right there around the edges. And yeah, so now I'm ready to go ahead. My paint just laid down so nice. Like I said, my second coat I added a little bit of water, which is a technique that you can do just for a nice flush sit down. And now I'm going to go ahead, and I have this itty bitty baby. Diane, hello from the beautiful Southwest. What's the temperature over there? You know, I didn't look today, but I actually have Sedona in my, because Sedona will be part of my future travels. And again, because I love Sedona. And I have Sedona as one of the places that you know, on your phone, you can save like the weather zip codes. So that's what I did, but I haven't checked it in the last 2 days. All right, so that looks good. By the way, because I did that little bit of distressing, I really should take my own advice and just get rid of any of that dust. I don't want white pecks in my poly. If I got white pecks in my poly, the next thing I would do is cry a little bit inside, and then I would go ahead and take some paint and repaint over my poly and start again. Okay, that's truly what I would do. So all I'm gonna do is get a nice soft flowy brush and do some long strokes. Now poly's particular. Poly is our very particular friend. Poly will pick up, it's like a glue. Think about like a glue. So I try to get it down real fast around the edges and stuff. Go light. There's already drippy zapping, which is why I don't do a lot. I do a few sweeps, and then I gotta let it go. If I decide I need a second coat, I will come back over it with a second coat, but I'm not trying to do miracles here, because Polly is a very sensitive person, okay? She's a very sensitive person. She only dwells in the future, not the past. So as soon as you get her on and she starts to activate, she's like, we are not going back over what we've done. I refuse to, and I will act up and I will cause you very big problems. Don't even put me in the time machine. So Polly thinks about the future. So as soon as you put the poly on, you can make a few, basically go in one direction, right? So you're going to want to go forward, just go in one direction. But when you back sweep, when you first start it, that's when you get the streakiness and the weirdness, okay? And poly gets all weird, and it's not a party anymore. And I'm just saying, don't mess with poly, okay? But that's how I do it. One coat at a time, very lightly. That's all I've got to do. I can come back in with my fingers. Now remember the trick that I showed you? And this is the truth. I'll do one coat of poly, I'll let that dry, and then I'll do one coat of Monkey Shine. And that's all I need to do on here. That's my two coats together. And I did a video this week showing you how I use Monkey Shine on top of poly for an extra. It just steepens my color, it protects it. It takes out any sort of unevenness or weirdness that can happen with your poly, and you get kind of streakiness. So I know that I have that little tip in the back of my pocket, so I like that. And I'm going to play with seeing what silver would look like on here, okay? Hey, oh, she's saying, hello, Julie. Yes, one of the regular Banana Bunch, hashtag Banana Bunch. Regina, Teresa, Jerry, Betty. It's a good day. It's a good day to have a good day. So what I did was, before I completely emptied out my gray moth, I went and I did a splish, splash. These guys were taking a bath. And I just put a little bit on here. So in my mind, just like when I do a first coat, I think of it like primer. Like that's my level to get the monkey to go on, and then it makes it like grabby for anything else that I put on top of. So this is dry right now, and it's not perfectly on there. Sometimes when you're painting little pieces like this, you need to like turn it over. I ain't got time for that. Okay, I do distress style, so in the end, I feel like my piece that I do is a piece of art, and you either appreciate it or you don't, right? You either like my style or you don't, but I'm not striving to be something that I am not. And I am not perfect, and I'm not trying to make perfect pieces. I just don't take that stress on in my life. I don't need that stress. You either are my customer or you're not my customer, right? And you get it or you don't. I am who I am. Karen, oh, Diane's talking to Karen. I'm going to read your notes here. We're going to be all gossipy and be like, what's Diane saying to Karen? Originally from Massachusetts, south of Boston and Cape Cod. Diane, I got up your way, your home way a couple weeks ago. It was beautiful. I went down to Mystic, Connecticut. I did that whole little area there. It was gorgeous. It was gorgeous. All right, so you see what I'm saying? It's not on there perfect. It's just kind of like, blip, 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 and you turn it down, it sticks. But as long as I got the majority, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over it with my silver wax. So you see, that's just one coat, and you can see my brush marks on there. I could take the time to go over it a second time if I really wanted to. Do I really want to? No, not right now. I don't. You can't make me do it. You just can't make me do it. All right, so I'm going to pull out my old silver here. Why is my top half off? This is the other one that I felt like could work as well. This one's called Black Gold. And these were the two that I was popping around my mind. I mean, I could do a test. This is Black Gold. Okay, it's gold, but it's a really tarnished. And so because it has that blackness into it, you know what I mean when I say gray and black just goes together so nice. And then we also have Old Silver right here. So, I mean, it could go either way. I'll know once I start. How about that? We'll see. We could do a test on either knob. I think that's a great idea. I'm so glad you came up with that. All right, so we'll do a test because I know that I can wipe it off and I can start over, so it's all good. No pressure. No pressure. And if you see bits of see-through of a color that I chose not, well, maybe that's just part of the art, because furniture is art, right? Life is art. You are who you are. Give yourself that that freedom. So this is the Old Silver. It's got some gray underneath it. And whatever I decide to edge this piece into, that is what I will do with this piece here. Let me see if I got a little brush. We do. So it makes it so much easier. These shabby chip brushes is awesome. Betty says, there you go. Don't dull your sparkle for anybody else. No, just don't. Just be real. You know, the best people are, just be yourself, and the right people will come around you. That's what I've learned anyhow. Tell me your nugget of truth that you guys have learned. So anyway, I love that. I could also wipe a little bit off of it if I want to. So what do we think of silver? Should we go silver? See, the thing is that I could do a piece in gray and I could go with silver edging one time, and then the next time I could do black gold. And so I feel like either way is a win-win situation. Now I'm going to take a little bit of this back on my brush again because I'm crazy like that, even though there's a little bit of silver. How's anybody going to know? I just came up with a brand new blend. Okay, let's test this one and we'll put them side by side and see what we like, okay? Karen's vote already is for gold. So let's see. This is called Black Gold. By the way, I have more of this on the way, so it will be back in stock very soon. Thank you guys for supporting me. I appreciate that. And being patient while I restock. I think I might have white gold left is the only thing. So this color here is called the Black Gold. And it's like a black and and it's a black and gold. Go figure that. All right, so here's the difference. So one is almost like a tarnished brass gold. Can you see the difference? This is the black gold over here. Do you see that? Like it comes out. Which do you like? Very UFO. And then we have this guy right here. Let's do another one. I kind of do like the black gold. It gives it a little warmth, but let me get a fresh brush because now I gotta make sure, like if I look at the top of my black gold. Do you see how it's getting pretty gnarly up there? Do you see that? Gnarly's good. I'm going to put some more on it just to make sure that I didn't dull it too much. No, that is truly how it is. Black gold. Boy, that's nice. All right, the vote for black gold it is. So this guy here is already started to be silver. It's okay. We got rags. We got stuff. It's already grabbed on. Literally, it's already grabbed on so much to that paint. It doesn't want to come off. And that's fine. I'm just going to go over it now as it is. So if you, I'm just not somebody who buys, I used to buy a lot of new hardware, and then I would go to, like, you know, places, and you spend a lot in hardware, and I've done that in the past, but now I look for it, like if I have a piece that actually has, if I'm buying a piece that has the hardware on it, like there was one I saw at Ambets this week when I posted my video, and I'm like, oh, this one's 15 bucks, but it just needs a new handle. It was broken, because it does take time to find a handle. And these widths right here, I have learned in the past, I have drilled them, I have puttied them, I've done all that, but you know what, we're doing this phase of life, we're doing things easy. And so that's important to me if it has a handle or not. I'm not gonna go out, I'm not gonna spend trying to find the right width. That's just not me, who I am. I'm not gonna spend to buy something new. I'm gonna use the existing hardware, and we're gonna jazz it up. And there we go. We're gonna jazz it up. So there's the black gold. Look how nice that is. So I kind of like, what would you call it, stippled? And it gives a little bit of, wow, look how old that looks now. I love it. Okay, we'll put them together in just a second. And then I have this, and so this is the base right here, the same color as the paint. So I just blob on a little bit. Blob on. That's what I want to get a shirt. It says blob on. Julie says so pretty. So this is the front right here. All right, let's do that. Go right over it. I'll come up here so you guys can see a little bit more. If you can you see that a little bit more? Love this. You guys have lunch yet? It's 2 o'clock. I eat at weird times. I don't feel like I'm even, you know, I just kind of pick when I'm hungry, especially in the summertime when it's so warm. And this is going to be all over my hands, and I'm completely okay with that. Make people wonder, what are they into? Look how nice that is. Just that little gray. The gray moth is so pretty. All right, so I've got a fan here going, and honestly, I come in, I do a little bit, then I leave, come back again. But you want to see how this is going to look? Because if you're like me, let me see those little guys. Now, I did a poly. You know I'm going to go over this with my monkey shine, but I'm just going to do this for purposes of all of us. It's really for me. I'm very, you know, I just want to see it. Anybody else get really excited about their, like, I can't wait to see it. I don't encourage you to do this with your stuff until you're ready to go, but you know what? If you have a bunch of people looking at you and they're anxious to see it too, then you know what? Just do it. All right. I need you to stay. I'm just going to stay here like this forever. In fact, I'll just sell it and they get me as part of the actual piece. But yeah, really cool, right? All right, I got to take this down because I got to let that dry. How can I help you? Now that I've managed to blob a little bit off, I gotta blob a little bit more on. But yeah, that's all I do. Just put a little bit of paint, and then, so these waxes are awesome. You can edge in them, change the hardware, and here's a trick as well. Once this dries, I can take my sand pad, and I can knock off a little bit of the hardware, because what happens over time, if we're being honest here, is that, you know, hardware, after a while, especially if you're using it, it will get worn. It's just what happens. It's just what happens. So you can help a situation by just putting a few distress marks, and then as this piece gets used and some paint just gets worn off of it from the oils of the hands and the use, it happens to everything, it's just going to look like it's supposed to be that way. I'm going to leave that out because I am going to do the rest. Once my poly dries, I will come here and just go ahead and monkey shine and then I'll do my edges. And so this is going to look so pretty because all the edges, doing a test, seeing if this dry pretty quick. Polly's pretty, like I said, she's a hard one to, you know, you just gotta be patient with Polly. Let's see if we can test it. Do I have my monkey shine here somewhere? Who got it? Do you have it? Tell the truth. Tell the truth. I only got a million gazillion things. Like I said, I gotta get this place organized. I've been in the throes of everything. Let me see if this will work here. What have we got going on here? I got little bits of everything everywhere because we do tests and stuff, and so you know how it goes. Just make sure your poly's dry, okay? It just fills in. I can see up close where I am. My poly. Sometimes you get little places in between where you poly with the brush, little streaks, just enough to fit a brush in there. And when you, what I do with my brush, come back to me wherever you are. Give me 1 second. Okay. So you'll have to tell me, what kind of a setup do you have for your paint projects? Do you have a room? I need to get some shelving. Maybe I'll work on that tonight. Boy, that's pretty. So without having to sand it, I didn't kick up any dust, and I kind of love that. Kind of love that a lot. And then if I'm gonna go with this one, the black gold, shall we test it? So today, guys, I'm going to make some cold eggs and cold beets. I woke up this morning and I'm like, you know what? I haven't had any cold eggs and beets in a long time. We went out and took a walk last night and I'm like, this is air. This is really air. So I feel like I've been swimming with all the humidity. There we go. I just like to kind of go around the edges with my finger. Remember, it is artistic, so you don't have to be perfect. If I want to, you know, put a blob somewhere or accidentally put a blob somewhere and be like, yeah, that's fine, then you know what? You can leave it at that as well. And then remember that your monkey shine also, if I wanted to get rid of a corner, all I would do is put my monkey shine on there and it would rub it back again. So that's your eraser. Your monkey shine is your eraser. But yeah, I'm just going to put a little bit around the edge. We got this really nice wind that blew in last night. It was beautiful. Feels like I haven't been like, I always wanted to be a mermaid, but it's not fun when you drink water on land. It was just so humid. So last night was beautiful. I'm going to get out tonight and hopefully take another walk. I haven't looked to see what the status is of that hurricane. Has anybody got an update? Is it going to hit or stay off the coast? I think it's called Hurricane Erin. I'm not sure. I like that. Can you see just a little bit around the edges right here? It's so pretty. And then remember that if there's anything you want to take off, you can walk it back. Just put a little bit of it on your rag. If you're like, oh, I just really want it in the corners. Okay, just put it in the corners. Put it on, blob it on, and just walk it back if you felt like you put any too much on anywhere. Like I said, just make sure your poly is dry. Oh, that's fine. Just wipe some with my, you can see it kind of came off right there. Fun. I like it. So yeah, once my hardware dries, I can do that. Put any shimmer. Sometimes I put shimmer in amongst in the corners to make it look like just magical dust, because who doesn't need extra magic in their life? Judith says nice. It's not supposed to hit land. Oh, that's good news. But it's doing havoc to the ocean close to the inlands, all the coastal regions. Yeah, that's what's scary. And you don't know because you follow it. And then you're like, this is, you know, sometimes they don't always get it right, and so you never know. It's a gamble. Well, I'm glad to hear it's not going to be as bad as I initially heard it's going to be or could be. And then up here, of course, we'll probably get some bands of something. I don't know if it'll push more warm air up here, or if if we'll get some cool breezes. But it's just been pretty stagnant up here, so I'm looking forward to having a weather change. Look how nice this is going to be on it. Do you see that? I think it's going to be great. So I'm going to be patient here and step away from the project, Sonia. Step away from the project and come back and do it, right? Sorry, I had to fix something. All right, I had to fix something. It was just driving me nuts. There we go. Okay. All right, I'm going to put it away. I'll see you guys again tomorrow, and I'll have this piece done tonight by the end of the day. But yeah, I love it. So hopefully you learned a few tips in here, and you're excited to paint something as well. So I'm going to go find some more stuff to paint and sell, some more stuff to just flip and sell. I'm cleaning out, and I have a goal. I have a dumpster on back of the shop, and I have a goal to just gut so much stuff out of here. If I'm not using it, I'm going to sell it and or donate it or trash it, right? It's got to go one or the other. Betty says, did you like the new stubby brush from yesterday? I loved it. I loved it. In fact, I used it twice again today. So I used I tried one for paint, and I tried one for poly. These are the ones yesterday that I got from Lowe's. So you can tell the one has a little bit of blue onto the top of it, a little bit of dye. So this is the paint one. And then this one right here is clear because I just been using this for the poly. And so I tried both of them to see if I like it both. And I really do love them. I think they're like $8.99 is what I paid for it, which you cannot beat that. And, you know, I feel like that's pretty reasonable. It's crazy to think how the prices have gone up though, like taking a break from painting and coming back to it. I am shocked. Just because I haven't looked at, you know, I guess when you're always into it, it's one thing, you get used to the prices, but when you take a step away from anything and you go back to it, and it's been years, and we've just had a lot of life over the last few years, you look at something and you go, wow, holy smokes, like the prices of stuff has really gone through the roof. It's nuts. So, but this is my blue one right here, still for all though, for $8.99. I wash it, go to the bathroom, which is just across the hall there, every day, and clean them up. But I feel for $8.99, I'm not going to break the bank. Like, you know, I would never want my brushes to get left out and to like have paint on them. I do cry inside, but at the end of the day, it's $8.99. So I know that it's not like a $50 brush, you know? So, but this works really well. So it's got the angle. It's got a nice thickness to it. So you get a really nice firmness when you paint, which I love that. But at the same time soft. And these are 2-inch. Karen says, aren't those like the blue ones that you used to sell? Yeah, those were a specific brand one. And you know what? I couldn't find them anywhere. They're gone from shelves. So I used to do a wholesale direct order. And so that's what I'm working on. So, because you can't go out and find them anywhere now. I can't find them anyhow, at least locally. Even like brand names of stuff. Like there used to be, if I couldn't find the one that I wanted, my shortcut, then my backup at the time a few years ago used to be one called, it was like Blue Hawk. And it was from a Lowe's, and Lowe's at that time had moved into doing their own branding. So a lot of shops, what they did was they almost like looked at, and this is a thing that happens, is that you know, companies might have things that come in from other companies, and they look at it and go, oh, wow, that sells really well. Let's make it, and we can make more profit because everybody's buying these brushes. And so they switched from the shortcut that I used to have, and they made their own. And it was like the knockoff version, which was okay. Wasn't the one that I loved. There was a difference, but it was close, you know. Oh, I haven't been there. Oh, really? Okay. So I'll try the Home Depot then. The Lowe's is the shop that's closest to me, so I always end up there. So, but these came from Lowe's, so these are not bad. $8.99. They definitely compare, which is probably why they have them and not the one that I'm looking for. They're like, but they will grab this. And yeah, I think these are Velspar. I'm pretty sure they're Velspar. But when you get into big companies in the paint world, one thing I've learned is that you might see one brand and you go, oh, this is, I don't know, this is this little small company called the Heart brand. I don't even know who these people are. But what you find out as you go deeper is, yeah, but they are owned by, like, they brand it in small brands to make you think that you're purchasing small brand love. And then you realize that, yeah, but they're owned by big, like gazillion $1 million companies, right? And so that's what they do. I witnessed that one time firsthand with a company that I worked with, and they used to rent things. And I remember being in the boardroom, and that's when I was like, wow, that really happens? That's interesting. Okay, all right, I see what you did there. And, you know, they had prices for rentals, and it would be, you know, pretty costly. And so what they did was they purchased a building off-site, like a half an hour away from their building. They branded it under a person's name and made it a what would feel like a small business, but it was them, that was their employee, and that would manage it and work it. And it was a way at that time for them to psychologically go, well, if I get to the actual destination, they're going to charge me a fortune. So what I'll do is I will go ahead and buy from this small brand right here that's a half an hour away, and I'll save some money. When really it's the same company that just optimized and decided to. That's how people think, right? So, you know, sometimes you see brands that come and go, but that might be a reason behind it as well, is that there's a bigger parent brand and they just try different things to see how people connect and if they'll pick it up, you know? The world of psychological marketing, it's pretty wild, isn't it? The stuff, yeah, just wild. Wow. I'm at a point in my life now where I just feel like I've lived so many lives of what I did. I just look at stuff and, you know, you can see right through it. Do you feel like that too? In so many different ways. It's just the mask has dropped, and what you know, you can't now not unknow. And you see people, you see things in a different light. And yeah, so I'm choosing simplistic, clarity, less confusion. I'm over here painting furniture in my world, and I just kind of like it that way, right? Easy peasy, with no stress, and I'm just doing what I can do. Happiness is an inside job, and so you always have that inside you. It's not outward, it's inward. And so regardless of what anybody else is doing, you know what can you do today? And I can paint a beautiful piece of furniture. I can go thrifting, which, by the way, I have a thrift video to get up for you guys from one of my recent travels, so look for that to come as well on the page. But I love this. Tell me if you love it too. Just a little bit right here. You can start to see it come to life. It's gonna be gorgeous. So I'll keep working on that. I do like how that has that little cut right here. They could have just did it straight across, but just that little bit right here makes all the difference. All right, let me go and say hello to Matt. Let him know that I am alive. And I said, I'm like, I'll see you probably about like a half an hour or so. And I don't know how long we've been talking for now, but it was good. It was good. And we got stuff done, and we figured out what color we're going to do. So stay tuned for the final reveal, and I will see you guys again live tomorrow. Take care. Bye.